The 4th of July weekend comes to a close with some more fireworks this afternoon. While it's hot and beautiful here in Denver, we're looking at some potential for more severe storms in Douglas County as well as out east on the plains. We've already seen at least one landspout tornado in Morgan County this afternoon. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Salinger. I want to bring in 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen. And Corey, as we keep an eye on these storms this evening, we're also looking ahead to even more heat coming our way this week.
Yeah, it looks like a heat wave in the middle of the week could get those temperatures up to 100 degrees here in the Denver area. So we'll be watching for heat advisories as we go into the middle of the week. Tonight we're watching for those severe storms. Here's the storm reports that we have seen so far. We've been watching most of the activity out here towards the east of Denver. We had a tornado reported just to the east of Brush. That was a small tornado, lasted about 8 minutes. And we've also had a 1-inch hail report up near Haxton. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 8 o'clock, which covers almost all of northeast Colorado, including some of the Front Range. That goes until 8 o'clock. It's also a 90-degree day. We are at 89 degrees downtown, 91 degrees out at Denver International Airport right now. And here is the way tomorrow looks here across the Denver metro area. No real threat of storms, although there is some moisture in the air, and we'll see a few in the area, but very isolated. We'll have sunshine early, getting the temperatures up into the low 90s once again tomorrow. Very little storm threat. And here's the temperature forecast for the rest of the Front Range. It looks like it's going to be a very warm day across the Eastern Plains Front Range, 70s and 80s in the foothills. I'll have more on that forecast as well as more information on that heat wave coming our way in just a few minutes, Mark.
Corey, thank you. So stop me if you've heard this before, but I-70 is slow going this Sunday on a holiday weekend. Predictably, perhaps, traffic looking a little rough as everyone head home from the mountains. This is a live look at I-70 near Idaho Springs. It's moving, but obviously there's a lot of people there. Luckily, though, I-70 has been moving pretty well in other parts of the state. It's been a rough weekend on the roads, though. The Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office says the westbound lanes of I-70 near Empire were closed for some time for a crash earlier today. You can see the traffic that caused. And Colorado State Patrol said northbound I-25 in Larkspur was also closed after a semi-truck was involved in a crash with 4 other cars. Luckily, though, both highways have since reopened since those crashes. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch is joining us live from a very busy I-70 up in the high country. And Janelle, it hasn't just been today, it's been a full weekend of traffic and closures all the way through I-70.
Mark, there are a few undeniables that come with the 4th of July. There will be cookouts, there will be fireworks, and there will be traffic. The saying goes, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But when the journey looks like this, it can be hard to think about anything else.
I hope it's all worth it.
Drivers knew to prepare for increased holiday traffic on I-70.
Our rule of thumb is usually to try and get out ahead of it. When you get 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it just kind of backs all the way up to the tunnel usually.
But others behind the wheel couldn't have anticipated what would slow them down, like Rachel Greenlee.
So I live in Arvada, but I have a really close friend that lives in Rangeley, which is almost to the Utah border, so I have to travel through I-70 to get to her house.
She says she left the Denver metro area on Thursday in the hopes of avoiding traffic, but a vehicle fire near the Eisenhower Tunnel literally stopped her in her tracks.
We sat on the highway until they arrived to put the fire out, but we were sitting for probably an hour and a half, just stopped on I-70 westbound with that accident. That was pretty terrible.
According to Colorado State Patrol, a truck ran into the back of a semi. CSP says the truck driver and a dog died in the fire.
It's really a helpless feeling of, I don't know what to do. Obviously, I can't approach a massive fire, so that's a little scary. And I've never experienced standing on a highway before, ever.
Greenlee was able to make it to Utah for the holiday, but on her way back to Colorado Saturday, her bad travel luck had caught her again.
So we're going eastbound on I-70. And yet again, the traffic seems to be slowing down and then stops for another fire.
She says after an additional hour in traffic, she finally made it home to Arvada.
I think I'm done being in my car for a couple days, so.
While being stuck in traffic means being further from the destination.
It was crazy. I'm on 70 and it's just backed up, but it sure is pretty.
Some drivers do find beauty in the journey. The Colorado State Patrol and Colorado Department of Transportation are asking drivers to be patient with increased traffic to avoid accidents. Even just today, while we were gathering for this report, we did see Idaho Springs police respond to one incident that did cause a pretty significant slowdown on I-70 East. Again, with just a few hours left in the holiday weekend, those agencies are asking drivers to remain cautious. Live in Genesee, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Yeah, I was stuck in that I-70 traffic yesterday with that truck fire for several hours. Just absolutely brutal as you're stopped there in standstill traffic. Janelle Finch, appreciate it. Thank you. Moving to some other headlines now. A person was killed early this morning after getting hit by several cars on Highway 50 in Delta County. It happened near the town of Delta on the western slope. CSP says 2 drivers have come forward after they were involved. They're working with investigators. The agency believes at least one other driver may also be involved. Westbound Highway 50 was closed for several hours after the investigation. That road has since reopened. Well, the Sunday after the 4th of July is usually when you get stories on the local news about fireworks causing house fires. So here's your stories about fireworks causing house fires. South Metro Fire says 2 homes were badly damaged thanks to fireworks that weren't properly disposed of. You can see that video there, not good. Moving over to City Park, there was a pretty big party somewhere out there. The street was still covered in wrappers and debris from those fireworks the next day. And around Sloan's Lake, a local realtor says the property that her client was under contract to buy was damaged by fireworks. Not exactly what you want to see when you're about to close on a house.
When I spoke with the listing agent, he said, well, there was a firework that landed on the rooftop deck. My buyer was a little bit shocked, and it's like, oh my gosh, what do you do?
West Metro Fire also says that he saw a surge in emergency calls. Typically, they get around 110 in about 24 hours. In about 12 hours this weekend, they already received 90. Law enforcement is asking for help finding someone who's escaped from police multiple times in the past 25 years. The FBI says Francisco Molina Nieve first fled a Colorado courtroom back in 1999, right after a jury found him guilty in the brutal beating of his girlfriend. He's been dodging prison ever since, using fake identities and escaping multiple arrests after posting bond. That's according to the FBI. He's now wanted on a federal warrant for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. The FBI says Molina Nieve has ties to Colorado, Texas, California, as well as Mexico. Officials believe he may still be hiding in one of those places. He posted a $1 million bond back in 2007 and then fled from police for a 3rd time. Now the FBI is stepping in, posting him on a most wanted list. The situation in Texas continues to get worse after catastrophic flooding there in Hill Country. Authorities say at least 78 people have been killed, with more than a dozen of those deaths being children. A desperate search continues for the dozens still missing. The flooding hit central Texas on Friday, causing a surge of more than 20 feet on the Guadalupe River near Kerrville. Nearly a dozen girls and 1 counselor are still missing from a Camp Mystic. It's a private Christian summer camp in the town of Hunt. Texas officials are calling the rescue and recovery efforts a marathon. They say more than 850 people have been rescued so far. And as their work continues, residents are also stepping in to lend a helping hand.
Everyone's just trying to do their part. There's it's a horrible sense of search, right? Because you're searching for something you hope you don't find. But at the same time, if you've got family members that are missing, you hope there are people out there looking for them.
President Donald Trump has declared a disaster declaration for the area. That's giving first responders access to more federal resources.